All right. Welcome back. We are back in my studio. It is slowly getting places. Places, please. Gum. I know better than that. Also, okay. Full disclosure: I am becoming, or I have been, a L'Oreal gal. Okay, now tell me. Really, I do want to do a segment on like a makeup segment where you just look in somebody's bag and you're like, okay, let's just beat your face. Let's make up your face because I'm staying away from words that may trigger people. But what's in your bag? Let's make up that face. Still really want to do a segment on that, but again, that's when I have money for a show. Anyways, my favorite go-tos. Isn't that gold really pretty? And then like it's such a pretty red right there. And then this one, in love with it. It's New Authentique. That's not what I have on right now, but it's what I use day to day and absolutely in love with it. And then uh, whatever this is, and then I also have it in the dusty pink or whatever, but seriously, it's 420. Seriously though, I've become a L'Oreal gal. That is not why I'm here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here. I don't know the rest of those words because I'm not Gen X. Switching gears just a little bit because today I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm just gonna write some. I'm gonna edit on Eddie and I's book, and then I started writing about what I'm actually doing this week because I'm working on submitting a whole bunch of stuff to Gotham Week, and full disclosure, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm submitting on a wing and a prayer and then cold emailing people about these projects, which may or may not be the smartest move, but it's like all I know how to do right now. And the truth is, I'm trying to push myself to dream again, to make progress of some sort, to not give up. Yeah, given where the industry is and given what I went through with the waltz. And it wasn't the waltz per se, it was knowing what all goes into trying to get a feature film made and up and off the ground, even if you're just trying to raise 250. You're offering 250 to 1.5 mil, which is always a lot of money. But it wasn't just that, it's also trying to get a trans-led project off the ground. And hold on, I have to sneeze. Someone told me that the French think that we sneeze loud. I think we do, but in the privacy of my own home, I can't help but sneeze loudly. But no, trying to get a trans-led project off the ground. It was especially traumatic. And I don't know how to disclose why it was traumatic. I think it was, number one, the level of rejection. Number two, the level of social media pushback, because we were really pushing in 2023. And I knew that it was going to be bad because you could already see the attacks gearing up online leading up for the campaign. I just didn't know that it would get that bad. But anyways, with all that in mind, taking a break, taking a step back from feature film crowdfunding, stepped away in 2023 when I had to go off of hormones, and I was like, my mental health is not in the best place. But after the election last year, I was like, I need to do something. I know how to write. Let's pour what I'm feeling into scripts, even if they're never, ever, ever, ever produced. I need to get it out of me. So, over the past holidays, at the end of 2024, I wrote 8 or 9 scripts, and each one I did try to shape for, a micro budget under 100K, which, let's be honest, that's still a lot. And so the first one was, the big one, California Croft, which is an action adventure about a multicultural crew of trans and queer operatives stealing back stolen artifacts. It's bold, expensive, and totally unproducible right now, but I needed to get it out. And then came, we're just going to go through a list of these, Portrait of Belonging. A black trans woman returns home with her fiance for a family reunion and confronts generational tension and the meaning of family. Go a little faster. The Unmaking. A trans woman reconnects with someone from her past and is forced to question what she thought she wanted. I know, so vague, right? Route 55. A group of queer friends takes a beach road trip through the hostile South searching for joy and safety. That was a fun one to write, where I needed to exercise the fears that I had when Eddie, myself, Jill, Savannah, the rest of the family, we all drove down to Pensacola Beach, and while we're driving through southern Alabama, lower southern Alabama, I'm like, this is really terrifying, truly terrifying. I should write a script about this. While I was in that terrified frame of mind, I wrote Fragmented, a dystopian near future where survival depends on your compliance score and curated identity. Just pulling from that. One I was really passionate about, after writing all of that stuff, it's like, let's tackle some more hopes and dreams. So I've been really wanting, ever since I read Sarrazine, Adapt It, and it's like, how do I do this? And then 2 years ago, I had the brilliant idea while talking with my wonderfully queer group chat composed. We made it for the Duke of Nope. Where's that place? Where do you live? The Duke of Buffalo. The Duke of Buffalo, Theo. But just, anyways, figuring out how to do a frame narrative within a frame narrative, wild. That's the literature geek and me geeking out. But, so Unveiled, a haunting adaptation of Sarrazine where two artists uncover a buried history of gender obsession and performance. I love Sarrazine. So let me just pause right there and say Sarrazine was the short story that really kind of jump-started my gender identity, not crisis, but just search isn't the right word either, trying to sort out my gender identity. Eddie posted this really funny video of the British and how they're like, yeah, well, let's just get you sorted. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, oh, goodness gracious, yes, let's get you sorted. Anyways, so still living in this framework of fear and needing to really get a lot out of me. Like, my subconscious is just like, and my shadow self is like, we can't keep any of this inside anymore. It needs to come out. You've got to word vomit. So we continued again with Beneath the Veneer. A seemingly perfect suburban wife unravels under the weight of her illusions. It's all about seeing yourself in the mirror. Now, this personal favorite of mine, I wrote it, let's just say it started out as a short film for a contest last year. And so I wrote a short, and it got rejected ultimately, which is why I'm still terrified of submitting to things. But I was like, I really love the story and the catharsis that my main character has, Sophia, with her mother. Again, working through some issues here. So she has this moment of catharsis, and then also this idea of like hiring a sex worker, hiring a male sex worker, hiring a straight cis white sex worker because a black trans woman really just needs to sort some things out, and it going horribly wrong, hilariously horribly wrong, but also working out things in her regular life, running a family blueprint shop, being a struggling trans actress, delving into magical realism. I just took my life and amplified it. Anyways, so becoming Sophia, a black trans actress searches for authenticity in a world built on performance. And there are some beautiful, just magical realism dream sequences that truly beautiful. I know, I impressed myself with my own writing. And finally, since I've been waiting long enough, and we're entering the 6th year since I made Duchess of Grant Park, a short film, and all along it's like I knew this needed to have a feature script attached. Honestly, I probably should have led with this one, but the Duchess came out during the pandemic, and it was just like, will anybody like this? Side note, you can hit me up, you can DM me for the screening link. Nose is running. But anyways, the Duchess of Grant Park, a black trans woman in the South, crowns herself a duchess and builds a movement for queer liberation with tiaras, grace, and determination. So when I look at all of them, even removing the expensive ones, it would still take 3.5 to 4.5 million to make that happen. And that's including some ones that I already have on the books, including The Decision and also The Waltz. So it's still so traumatized by that. But even getting these ones off the ground feels impossible. So I don't know if I'm proud of myself or worried for my mental health that I keep pushing forward. Cue Meghan Trainor is bad for me because keep making promises to myself that I just can't keep, and hurting myself in the process. So, right now, I'm stuck between wanting to invest in my studio and reboot the Ava Davis show and needing to cover submission fees, membership fees, gear replacements, and just life. And, sometimes, so here's the thing too. I even, I get so tongue-tied. I wonder if it's even worth it to, applying for these memberships to these programs when they're based out of LA and New York City, and I'm not in LA or New York City. So I'm submitting 3 projects before the 17th, and it's exhausting, and I'm submitting them to Gotham Week, which, even though I said litany of expenses that I need to cover, including finishing up the studio remodel, yes, it looks amazing. I really do want some cabinets. I want to store things properly and get the space organized so I can get back to a functioning space. But yeah, it's exhausting. And then there's the other reality. Transitioning is expensive, time-consuming, and emotionally draining. I had been off of hormones to explore fertility options. And so now that I'm back on, but because I went off, things grew. And I would really like to get laser hair removal again to remove what grew back. I made a whole short film about me and my dysphoria and my facial hair called Queer Dystopian Short. Today was a horribly dysphoric day. I don't know. There's a multitude of things I don't want to get into. But anyways, walking through Home Depot and Lowe's and seeing kids that, for whatever reason, it's like, yeah, yeah. So, with that said, and now that I've made myself cry, I've been putting off laser hair removal. My body's been through a lot, and we're not even going to get into the baby topic, and we did. I guess what I'm trying to say is I have decision fatigue. I have rejection fatigue. I have rejection PTSD. I have limited funds, and I'm still submitting, still trying to push forward while wondering if it's even worth it. So, maybe, and I tell myself this, maybe that's what courage looks like. Maybe it's doing something even when you're scared. So I'm going to keep submitting. I'm going to keep doing these things, submitting auditions, submitting projects, submitting my DNA, and seeing what happens. Okay, I've cried, so which means that I'm gonna get sleepy now, so it's time for a nap, but we'll see what happens. I look amazing though. Whenever I'm feeling dysphoric, I do pretty myself up, so it's like, well, at least I look amazing while feeling sad. Anyways, I'm going to go listen to I Dreamed a Dream, and then I'm going to listen to New Ways to Dream. Maybe that will help inspire me to dream. Anyways, I get to go cuddle with Eddie, highlight of my life. All right, love you, bye. Was that recording?